During that press conference, the commander of U.S. Central Command, Kenneth McKenzie Jr., explained the video to reporters. He said the DNA used to confirm Baghdadi's identity was from samples collected during his previous detention at a camp in Iraq. He also revealed that special forces that carried out that operation were pre-staged in Syria. Let's get more on this from TRT World's Yasmine El-Sabawi, who's with me now. Yasmine, what else have we learned about this operation?
This is quite uncommon for the Pentagon to release both photos and videos and to do it so quickly after such a high-profile raid. But I think this is part of the messaging that they wanted. And as General Ken McKenzie, the head of Central Command, told reporters today, he said the operation was, quote, exquisitely carried out. So here's what we know. We understand General McKenzie ordered the operation to begin at about 1300 GMT on Saturday, October 26th. U.S. helicopters moved in on this area of Idlib, of the compound where al-Baghdadi was staying. We have pictures of that. And those forces then moved onto the ground. They were met with live fire, at which point the U.S. Air Force moved in to back them up. Ground forces then approached the compound and called out, we understand, in Arabic, verbal commands for people inside to come out peacefully. They said about 6 people who were inside did not respond, and so they had to be killed. As U.S. forces later moved in, they were met with more resistance, and so at that point, we had 11 members of ISIS that they say were killed before they were then met with the hole that Abu Bakr Al-Baghdadi had crawled into and the tunnel which he then ran through and detonated his suicide vest. We were told that it was 2 children that died with him and not 3 as previously reported, and that Al-Baghdadi was buried at sea according to the laws of armed conflict within about 24 hours. But that compound itself has now been essentially razed to the ground, and General McKenzie said it looks like a parking lot with potholes.
And it was interesting because there seemed to be a few differences of Colonel McKenzie's account versus what Trump detailed in his announcement over the weekend.
So, of course, President Donald Trump is really positing this as his big foreign policy win, getting the #1 most wanted terrorist in the world. And generally, the Pentagon's backed him up by detailing how well the armed forces did in killing Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. But they did sort of maybe undercut him in parts. A reporter asked General McKenzie, what do we know about President Trump's assertion that al-Baghdadi was whimpering and crying before his death? And General McKenzie said, you know, I don't really know anything about that. This is now the 3rd senior level Pentagon official who's really distanced himself from that assertion and said, I don't really know anything about it. And secondly, we know that Trump has been saying for quite some time now that ISIS is defeated, the caliphate's defeated, we got them. But General McKenzie gave a more realistic, should we say, accounting of that and said, look, ISIS is first and last an ideology. And it's likely never going to be stamped out, and there will be no, quote, bloodless future. But the goal for the U.S. is to get that ideology down to something that local forces can manage at a local level. So that's really sort of the more realistic accounting of how things look from the Pentagon.
Right. We know that certainly doesn't stop the ideology, those lone wolf attacks that are continuing to inspire, but certainly taking out Daesh's top leader is a big step in that. Yasmine El-Sabawi, thanks for that.